What's going on, everybody? Sports culture, and today I got a different type of video. As we know, the NFL draft is this week on Thursday on the 25th. So this video right here, I just want to break down some top prospects the Green Bay Packers could be selecting in the first round or should be looking at in the first round. It's going to feature a lot of cornerbacks, some offensive linemen, maybe some defensive linemen. I'm not really going to put any linebackers in here because I don't think any linebackers should be going in the first round, but linebacker is definitely a big need for this defense. So in this video, I'm just going to break down some picks the Green Bay Packers might be looking at in the first round. Let's get right into it. So before I get into this video, this isn't a ranking or anything like that. I'm not ranking my favorite prospects for the Green Bay Packers to select. These are just guys I'm just putting in this video, so don't think this is a ranking video by any means. Now, the first guy I want to talk about is the 6'5", 313-pound offensive lineman, Graham Barn out of Duke. And this guy is a fan favorite for sure. He has all the versatility in the world to play all over the field on the offensive line. And he was at the collegiate level a tackle, but I think at the next level he's projected more to be a center or a guard, which is very good for this team. We need more interior offensive line depth and just guys in the interior O-line. And Graham Barn could be one of those guys. He is super athletic, very good at run blocking and pass blocking. And I just love the physicality and demeanor he plays with on the football field. Now, Graham Barn this year had a 71.2 run block grade, had a 78.2 pass block grade, had an 80.3 zone grade, had a 59.4 gap grade, had a 78.5 true pass set pass block grade. And this year, in 2023, he only played in 9 games, had a 75.9 PFF grade, 496 offensive snaps, 238 run block snaps, 258 pass block snaps, allowed 2 sacks, 0 hits, and 9 hurries. But in 2022, he was fairly dominant, had an 88.2 PFF grade, played in 13 games, 896 offensive snaps, 409 run block snaps, 487 pass block snaps, allowed just 2 sacks, 0 hits, and 8 hurries. Now, Graham Barn is listed at 6'5", 314 pounds. And my favorite thing about Graham Barn is his age. This guy is only 21 years old, and he has a lot of time to develop and just get better overall. And as it says right here, Barn is a tough lineman who moves well, and he has strong hands and a mean streak in the run game. His best position in the NFL is likely center, as he brings starting caliber traits there. Now, here are some pros and cons I made real quick for Graham Barn. Athletic and versatile, great mobility and range of space of movement, a great production at college, good in run and pass blocking. Now, here are the cons I made for Graham Barn. Not elite length in terms of arm length and height. He does have a little bit of a holding issue. There is times he loves to clamp onto defenders for a little bit too long. And the other thing was, doesn't explode off the ball on a play-to-play basis. Now, Graham Barn, to me, just feels like such a Green Bay Packers pick on the offensive line. This is someone who's super athletic, and you know the Green Bay Packers love to draft super athletic offensive linemen. His RAS is in the 99th percentile, which is very elite, and he has good height. He's in the height and range the Packers like from 6'5" to 6'6". Is a little bit underweight in terms of what the Packers like at 320 pounds, but he's only 313 pounds, 314 pounds, so not that underweight. And he is very athletic, like I said earlier. Had a 4.95 40-yard dash, a 2.82 20-yard split, and a 1.68 10-yard split, so very good. Had a very impressive shuffle drill and 3-cone drill as well. Now, the next guy I want to talk about is my favorite defensive player in this year's draft class, and someone who I think is just going to be a stud at the next level, and that is Jon Newan, a.k.a. Johnny Newan, the defensive tackle out of Illinois. And this guy is just going to be a game merc at the next level. Super athletic, super twitchy for a defensive lineman, very good hand usage, very fast and violent hands, and just quick off the line. I love the dog mentality he plays with, and he has a great motor for a defensive lineman. Now, Jon Newan is listed at 6'2", 295 pounds, which you can definitely say he's undersized for the defensive line position. But he's only 21 years old. He's only going to get better from here on out. And he makes up with it with some great leverage on a play-to-play basis. Tremendous hand usage, fast and violent hands. And he has all the moves in his arsenal to get to the quarterback. So, Jon Newan this year had an 84.9 PFF grade. Played in 12 games, had 749 defensive snaps, 402 pass rush snaps, 347 run defense snaps, 8 sacks, 7 hits, 28 hurries, and 2 batted passes. But in 2022, Jon Newan was even more dominant, and he had a 91.5 PFF grade, played in 13 games, had 723 defensive snaps, 423 pass rush snaps, 299 run defense snaps, had 4 sacks, 19 hits, and 36 hurries, which is very dominant for a defensive lineman, and 3 batted passes as well. Now, Jon Newan this year had a 15.4 pass rush win rate, which is very elite for a defensive lineman. And like I said earlier, he's very good at getting to the quarterback, but very good at stopping the run as well. This year, he had a 7.4 run stop rate and a 77.1 run defense grade. Now, here are the pros and cons real quick for Jon Newan. Possesses quick handwork, very fast and violent hands, like I said earlier. Feet never stop firing. Experienced and effective stunt/loop rusher. Motor that never stops. That's one of my favorite things about him. He has an insane motor. An explosive first step. Now, here are the cons for Jon Newan. You can tell he is light, lacks overall flexibility for getting low and bending on the rush. High run defense grade comes from more gap shooting and disengaging blocks than truly holding the line. Top speed is limited in pursuit. So I just want to show this quick stat of Jon Newan, which just showcases how dominant he is up front and how good he is at getting to the quarterback and just making chaos and disruption up front. He has had 102 quarterback pressures since 2022, which is 24 more than the next closest defensive tackle. So very, very elite. And like I said earlier, this guy, I just love his play style, man. He's a game wrecker, and I think at the next level, he's going to be a stud. Now, the next prospect I do think the Packers could maybe target is the first cornerback that's on this video. That is Nate Wiggins, the cornerback out of Clemson. And I think this guy has a legitimate chance to be the best coverage cornerback from this draft class. He's my cornerback, too, in this year's draft class. I think he's an elite athlete. Yes, he is undersized in terms of weight, but when we talk about coverage and not tackling, he is phenomenal in coverage. Nate Wiggins is listed at 6'2", and I believe he's around 175, 180, so definitely undersized in terms of weight. But he is only 21 years old, and this dude has a lot of time to develop and put on weight. And like I said earlier, if you want a lockdown cornerback, if you want somebody that could legitimately be the best coverage cornerback from this draft class, I think Nate Wiggins has to be the guy, man. This guy has insane recovery speed, an elite athlete. Yes, he is undersized in terms of weight, but he's a willing tackler. Maybe not the best at block shedding and making tackles on a play-to-play basis, but at the end of the day, we're drafting someone at the cornerback position to play coverage. And I think Nate Wiggins is phenomenal in coverage. He's very good at trail technique. He knows how to mirror wide receivers. He's very disciplined and patient in man coverage and man press. And I just love Nate Wiggins for this defensive scheme. And I think he'd be a perfect fit for this cornerback room in Green Bay. This is someone that has insane confidence. He's super competitive, and he is a very good shit talker himself. There's multiple clips of this guy talking shit to other college cornerbacks, and I just think he fits this cornerback room very, very well. We have guys like Jair Alexander, who's known for his confidence and being a shit talker out there. Guys like Carrington Valentine, who there is a lot of talks out there by other like wide receivers in the league that Carrington Valentine is a huge shit talker and loves to get in your face. So getting a guy like Nate Wiggins that fits this mold and just fits this cornerback room, I think would be a huge beneficial thing for this team. Now, Nate Wiggins this year did have an 83.9 coverage grade, had a 65.4 run defense grade, had a 43.9 completion percentage, had a 78.5 man coverage grade, and had a 74.0 zone coverage grade. This year, he had an 82.5 PFF grade, only played in 10 games, had 494 defensive snaps, 293 coverage snaps, allowed 18 receptions on 41 targets, 176 yards allowed, to 1 touchdown to 2 interceptions, and a passer rating of 44.4. Now, Nate Wiggins will be a boundary cornerback at the next level. I've seen people say just because he's undersized in terms of weight, he's going to be a slot cornerback. There is no way, in my opinion, that he's going to be a slot cornerback. He has the height and length you want from a cornerback on the boundary, and his speed is just so good that you have to put him on the boundary. And then real quick, I want to go over the pros and cons for Nate Wiggins. Rare athleticism, smooth yet explosive, elite recovery speed, really good arm length to hand fight and press and disrupt the catch point, very quick and fluid hips, feet are light, quick, and balanced, equally as confident in man or zone, competitive player who does not back down. Now, here are the cons for Nate Wiggins. Slender build shows up in run defense, though he did improve there in 2023. And literally all of the negatives about Nate Wiggins as a prospect are about his body type and how he's undersized in terms of weight. Lack of weight allows offensive players to push him around, especially in the run game. Like I said, all of his negatives are about his body type. But when we talk about the way he plays, his technique, the way he plays the cornerback position, it's really hard to pull out any flaws from him. Now, Nate Wiggins did have a RES inside the 94th percentile, and he's just a very good athlete for the cornerback position. He has the height and length you want from a cornerback at 6'1" and an arm length of 30.5. Yes, he is undersized in terms of weight, but he did also run the fastest 40-yard dash between every cornerback there at the combine. He did have a 4.29 40-yard dash, which is very elite, a 20-yard split of a 2.53, and a 10-yard split of a 1.49, which is just super, super elite. Now, the next player I want to talk about, which I definitely think the Green Bay Packers definitely could select in the first round, is Jackson Powers-Johnson, the center/guard out of Oregon. And I think this guy is easily the best center in this year's draft class. There is a lot of talks that NFL scouts are not that high on this guy, but when I watched the film on this guy, man, I was super, super impressed. This guy's a molar in the run game, a brick wall in the pass game, and he's just very athletic and very physical. Now, Jackson Powers-Johnson is listed at 6'3", 320 pounds, and is 21 years old. He's very young and has a lot of time to develop. And as it says right here, there just are many holes in Powers-Johnson's game, especially since he moved to center. He has complete positional versatility along the interior offensive line. And me personally, man, I feel like the interior offensive line is our biggest hole on the offense. Josh Myers is our center, and I think he's above average, when he's on and when he's playing well. But he's very inconsistent on a play-to-play basis, so you could definitely add another guy in there. And Sean Rhyan is likely going to be our starting right guard next year. And I think Sean Rhyan is going to be very good, but he hasn't played that many snaps, so you don't know how he's going to be in a full season's worth of play. So you could definitely add another guy like Graham Barn or Jackson Powers-Johnson in this year's draft class to help beef up the interior offensive line and make sure those question marks are not a question mark anymore. Now, Jackson Powers-Johnson this year had an 85.6 run block grade, had a 90.6 pass block grade, had an 83.8 zone grade, 70.2 gap grade, 87.1 true pass set pass block grade. Now, Jackson Powers-Johnson this year had an 84.5 PFF grade, played in 13 games, had 829 offensive snaps, 333 run block snaps, 497, pass block snaps, 0 sacks, 0 hits, and 1 hurry. And then in 2022, Jackson Powers-Johnson had an 84.1 PFF grade. He did play in 12 games, but he didn't have nearly the amount of snaps that he did in 2023. He did have 400 snaps, 206 of them were run block snaps, 194 pass block snaps, did allow 0 sacks, 1 hit, and 1 hurry. Now, here are the pros and cons for Jackson Powers-Johnson. A big-time people mover in the run game. Like I said, this guy is just a molar. Big chest and midsection help generate a ton of upper body strength. Dense player, can anchor quickly and effectively. Destroyer of worlds type of mentality. And like I said earlier, I love this guy's, demeanor, the way he plays the game. He's very physical. He's very aggressive. And he loves to go hit people in the second and third level and make them feel him. A very good grip strength to toss defenders to the side. And then his one con is short arms, even for an interior player. And as it says right here, Powers-Johnson possesses starting caliber power and finesse traits at center or guard for both zone or man gap blocking concepts. He is dominant enough at his position to be considered a top 20 talent. So we could get a guy like Jackson Powers-Johnson, at pick 25. I think that's an insane value pick. I think Jackson Powers-Johnson, anywhere we put him on this offensive line, I think he's going to be a stud. I think this guy's just going to be very good at the NFL level. And I think at center, he has all-pro qualities. And the next prospect I think the Green Bay Packers could select in the first round is a fan favorite, the cornerback at Iowa, Kool Dein. And this guy's just an athletic freak for the cornerback position. He has an elite height-weight ratio for the cornerback position at 6'1", 210 pounds, 208 pounds. Very, very good height and weight. This guy is just very athletic. He's very instinctive. He's a good playmaker when the ball's in the air. Maybe isn't the greatest defensive scheme fit right now since he's only had 199 snaps in man press and just man coverage in general. But I do think at the next level, he will develop into a scheme fit. And I think this guy is going to be very good at the next level. And Kool Dein is listed at 6'1", 207 pounds, and is 21 years old. Like I said earlier, he has an elite height and weight ratio. And this dude is only 21 years old. He's super, super young. He's only going to get better. And as it says right here, he doesn't have much experience in press coverage, but he could succeed in that role. Dein is likely the best run-defending cornerback in the class. There are many holes, if any, in his game. And the only hole I'd really say, which isn't really a hole, is just lack of experience in man coverage. I don't blame that on Kool Dein because the Iowa, defensive scheme was really based around zone defense. And, Kool Dein is just phenomenal in zone defense. He's so good at reading the football field and being a ball hawk. So, he was very good in zone. And I do think at the next level, he will develop more as a man coverage cornerback. Now, here are the pros and cons for Kool Dein. Great size for a quarterback, stout and run defense. Quick, controlled footwork and back pedal allows him to veer and break exactly how he needs to. Good instincts and football IQ. Communicates and observes the whole field pre-snap and post-snap. Impressive ability to flip his hips and accelerate for his size. Has the natural athletic ability to play press. Ample special teams experience as a gunner and returner. Now, here are the cons for Kool Dein. Only 199 snaps in press, less than 25% over the past 2 years. And like I said earlier, I think that's his biggest flaw. And I don't even think it's a flaw, but him having, that little bit of experience in man coverage and man press. And then change of direction / acceleration when he's fully flipping his hips can be slow because of his size. I think he's just a bit stiff because of his size when he flips his hips. So definitely that is a flaw. But I think just because of how big he is at the cornerback position, he looks a little stiff and slow. I still think he has great recovery speed. I think Kool Dein at the next level is just going to be a very good player, especially in a zone-centric defensive scheme. And as it says right here, the talk of Dein playing outside cornerback or safety or slot cornerback at the next level is not due to lack of home position. It's because he could truly be an impact player anywhere. His footwork, ball skills, and explosive athleticism make him an impactful outside cornerback, one with all-pro potential. Now, Kool Dein this year had a 76.8 coverage grade, had a 78.6 run defense grade, had a 43.5 completion percentage, had a 63.7 man coverage grade. Like I said, I don't think he's the greatest in man coverage right now, but I do think at the next level he will develop in man coverage, and had a 73.1 zone coverage grade. Now, Kool Dein this year had a 77.4 PFF grade, played in 10 games, had 705 defensive snaps, 388 coverage snaps, 20 receptions on 46 targets, 194 yards, 0 touchdowns to 2 interceptions, and a passer rating of 37.8, which is just phenomenal, man. But in 2022, Kool Dein had an 88.5 PFF grade, played in 13 games, had 814 defensive snaps, 445 coverage snaps, 37 receptions on 72 receptions, 422 yards, 2 touchdowns to 5 interceptions, and a passer rating of 49.7. So very, very good in 2022. He did allow up way more yards, but he also had 2 touchdowns to 5 interceptions and a passer rating of 49.7. So very dominant in 2023 and 2022. Now, Kool Dein this year also had 6 forced incompletions, 0 dropped interceptions, 5 coverage stops, 5 missed tackles, and an average depth of target of 10.2. And I've said it the whole video, this guy is an athlete for the cornerback position. His RES was in the 98th percentile, which is just super, super elite. He has great height and weight ratio, had a very good vertical jump at 38.5 inches, and his 40-yard dash, I honestly expected him to run a 4.41 or 4.39. I thought he was really that fast, but he ran a 4.46, which is still very, very fast for a cornerback, and had a 2.5 20-yard split and a 1.52 10-yard split. So very, very elite. He also has great arm length at 31.125 inches, so very, very good athletic score. He's just a super athlete for the cornerback position, and his measurables for a cornerback are super, super elite. So I just want to show a play or two real quick. And like I said, when Dein keeps the play in front of him and he's able to just read the football field, he is super, super good. Watch this play right here. When the play's in front and he makes the tackle right here, he reads, reacts, and attacks. Watch him read, react, and attack, and lay the boom on that player right there. And finally, the last prospect I am going to talk about in this video is a player that I think is dealing with draft fatigue, and that is the cornerback out of Alabama, Kool McKinney. And this guy, man, is just super smart as a cornerback, super poised. He never gets out of position. It was truly hard when I was watching film to find any flaws in his game. You know, there is, times he is a little bit too handsy and touchy, past 5 to 10 yards, and he does get called for holding or pass interference. But, I mean, most cornerbacks coming out of college do the same thing and have the same problems. Kool McKinney, man, is just super good and super technical man coverage and zone coverage. This guy's super confident, super competitive, and he loves playing island coverage. And that's a great thing to know because we have a cornerback in Jair Alexander, who's one of the best in the NFL, who also is very good in island coverage. So we could get a guy like Kool McKinney on the other side of Jair Alexander. This defense is going to be locked down. We really can't go wrong between Nate Wiggins, Kool McKinney, or Cooper DeJean. But if I had to make the pick out there, I would go with Kool McKinney, man. This guy is super good at man coverage, super patient, super disciplined in man press, and I just love the way he plays the ball when it's in the air. Now, Kool McKinney is listed at 6'1", 195 pounds, and is 21 years old. This guy has insane height and weight ratio, phenomenal height and weight ratio for the cornerback position, and is only 21 years old, super, super young. And it says right here, McKinney plays one of the most difficult positions in the game with so much poise and production. He might not be an elite athlete, but he is one of the smartest cornerback prospects you'll find. He can play in any defensive scheme and is the type of player you draft in the first round. Now, here are the pros and cons for Kool McKinney. Great balance and fluidity when backpedaling, good but not great recovery speed. Length is a big plus for press coverage. Hands are quick and precise for disrupting receivers out of press. Nice shoulder dip reaction time to avoid blocks. Comfortable and confident in island coverage. And like I said earlier, that is a big thing because we have a guy like Jair Alexander who's one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL. But Jair is very good at island coverage. He's very good at being by himself on one side of the field and just locking it down. And I think Kool McKinney at the next level could be like that as well. And then the next one is does not fall for feet chopping of wide receivers in the releases. Quick to read screens. And that's another thing I really do like about this guy. He's quick to read screens. Who else does that on our defensive secondary so well? Jair Alexander. Now, here are the cons for Kool McKinney. Change of direction, ability, and agility are good but not elite for stickiness and coverage when routes are breaking. Likes to be physical, which led to some unnecessary holding and DPI penalties. Long speed is good but not elite. Could stand to be more aggressive when attacking the ball. Kool McKinney this year had an 87.8 coverage grade, had an 83.0 run defense grade, had a 48.7 completion percentage, a 74.7 man coverage grade, and an 83.8 zone coverage grade. Now, Kool McKinney this year had an 88.8 PFF grade, played in 14 games, had 848 defensive snaps, 482 cover snaps, 19 receptions on 39 targets, 205 yards, 1 touchdown to 0 interceptions, and a passer rating of 73.1. Kool McKinney this year also had 10 forcing completions, 1 dropped interception, 8 coverage stops, 3 missed tackles, and an average depth of target of 10.5. Now, I'm just going to show this one play of Kool McKinney, and this is really what made me a fan of Kool McKinney, man. He's just so good at reading the football field. He's so smart at understanding what's going on. Watch right here. He's going to be guarding A.D. Mitchell, who's one of my favorite receivers in this year's draft class. A.D. Mitchell is going to be running out here, but he's going to notice a crossing route coming back here. So watch this real quick. He's going to be backpedaling right here. He looks back at the quarterback, notices what's going on right here, notices what's going back, looks back at the quarterback, sees the crosser right here, and this is a phenomenal play. I just wish he would have made the tackle. This would have made it A+. But still, great play recognition. A great way to, understand what's going on. Although he didn't make the tackle, man, that's still an A+ play by me. Phenomenal effort. Great play recognition. And he's just a very smart player, like I said. So here is Kool McKinney's RES, and it isn't nothing crazy. It's in the 75th percentile. But the one thing that definitely stands out is his height. On PFF website, he is listed at 6'1". And I do think he's around more 6 foot, maybe 6'1". So he did at the combine measure in at 5'11", but I do think, he is more 6 foot, especially with the cleats on. And then the vertical jump of a 34.5, nothing crazy. a broad jump of 10 inches, but the 40-yard dash was pretty solid at a 4.47. And then the arm length is phenomenal, 32 inches. That is great. Super lengthy arms, super just lengthy defender in general. I think at the next level, that's going to be a huge thing, especially in man press and just disrupting the catch point for wide receivers. Anyways, that is going to be all the prospects so far. Obviously, there is more prospects the Green Bay Packers could select, but these are just the main guys in my head that I think could be selected come Thursday. I think these guys all fit the Green Bay Packers threshold, and I think these guys could all make an impact on this defense. My two favorite prospects would probably be Kool McKinney and Jon Newan. Like I said when I was talking about Jon Newan, I think Jon Newan is the best defensive player in this year's draft class. I think he's going to be a game wrecker in the next level. So we could get a guy like Jon Newan, man. That would be a huge boost to our defense. Do we need a defensive lineman in the first round? Maybe not, but can we get one? Definitely. And I think Jon Newan is the best defensive lineman in this draft class and just the best defensive player in general. My favorite cornerback, for the Green Bay Packers to select, not my favorite cornerback in this draft class, is Kool McKinney, though. I think Kool McKinney just fits the Green Bay Packers, defensive scheme and threshold. This guy is super confident, super competitive, and he loves to play island coverage. And he's a lockdown specialist, man. We could get two lockdown cornerbacks in Jair Alexander and Kool McKinney. I mean, this defense is going to cause hell on offenses. So let me know what you guys think about this video. Leave your thoughts and comments down below. Also, leave a like on this video. It would help a lot. It's been your boy Sports Culture. I'm out.